Hey, all right. How's everybody doing? I'm here to just kind of give you some info on bicipital tendonitis. I'm going to tell you kind of what I went through, what I did to heal it, um, and what I did to bring the tendon back. So there are some particular things that you'll aim to do when you go about the recovery process. One, you look to stretch, strengthen, and rest. Okay, those three things are huge. Along with those three things, you have to include food. The food is very, very key in what you do. There are a lot of things out there that will really slow your recovery process, and those are the things you want to stay away from. So what you want to think about is you want to think about the actual tendon and what stage you're in. Okay, so let's kind of put a few things out there. If you're in the stage where you're experiencing pain during a lift, a pull, a push, anything of that sort, you're gonna have to wait. Okay, you're in a different phase. All right. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to wait until you hit the inflammation phase. Okay, and that phase is, I'm going to tell you, it's when and where you don't experience or feel any pain. Okay, during my healing process in the first few weeks experienced a lot of pain during pushes, pulls, and lifts. Over the course of 2 weeks, I did not completely take my arm out of use. I went ahead and I continuously used it, even though I felt some pain. If I felt pain when I lifted a heavy weight, I'd kind of cut back, in that area. But I definitely went ahead and did the same movements that I did before. And I just focused on different ways of lifting and lifting smaller amounts, okay? So once you pass the pain stage, okay, you reach inflammation. That's when and where you're ready for the recovery process. You'll be ready to stretch, strengthen, and rest. Okay. So when you start this recovery process, there are certain things that you're gonna go about doing in order to make it happen fast or easier for some people because they'll probably be lifting during this process or this time. And what you're pretty much going to do is when you're actually focusing on this arm coming back, and you're going to notice that the bicipital tendonitis is the pain right here in the shoulder, and you notice it throughout the day and things like that. So when you hit the inflammation phase, it's all about decreasing the inflammation. You still need to get back in the gym. You still need to eat good. You need to eat very, very clean. Get back in the gym. But there's certain exercises you do. There's certain foods you eat, and there's certain ways you go about resting the arm, and how you even carry out certain activities throughout the day. It's very important that you do certain things. Looking to reduce the use on the tendon. Most people have the same issues, okay? The tendonitis sets in on the side that's your dominant side. So for me, it's my right side. Yeah, my right side has a tendonitis. They also tell you that your shoulders probably, maybe one's higher than the other or something like that. And you notice if you look at yourself from behind, the shoulders kind of are a little offset. Well, this one is actually going to be your weaker one, okay? So that's usually the one that suffers with the bicipital tendonitis, while the other side, a lot of people wonder, how does it bear and take on all that weight for all that time, but the other side couldn't. So what you will do is you definitely have to compensate on your left side, okay? I'm going to make this really quick, simple, and fast. This is how you get rid of it, okay? All right. Number one, it doesn't come overnight. Number two, what you need to do is you need to start out with a certain exercise where you we'll stretch, and then I'll do a stretching video for you guys to see the different types of stretches that need to be done, but you'll do a certain set of stretches. The stretches will bring on inflammation, okay? You need to get through this phase. You need to make sure that when you actually do these stretches, whether those stretches last for 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 minutes, after the duration of stretching, you need to make sure that there is no inflammation. All right. Now, there's a few things that you can use. You can use anti-inflammatories. You can use like cold packs or icy hot and things like that to help decrease the inflammation while you stretch. That's the point of it. We need to get the tendon to work while it's not inflamed in order for it to get stronger. Okay. So your goal is going to be during your stretches to make sure that you can decrease as much inflammation as possible. And when the inflammation increases to a certain point where you start to notice, hey, this inflammation is borderline working its way back into pain, you need to stop right there, and that's your cutoff point. And that's the point that you hit every time after, and you should notice less inflammation each time. Okay? Now, when you get through the stretching phase, that's simple and easy, you will move on to exercises. There are certain exercises that you're going to follow through with in order to help the rotator cuff and help the muscle groups around that tendon and build it all up. You're going to handle your exercises the same way you handle your stretches. Once you get through the stretching phase, which you should be able to go into the gym, stretch for 5 or 10 minutes and not feel much inflammation at all. And then you're going to notice you're going to do some exercises, certain particular exercises that are going to increase the inflammation. When that inflammation increases, again, just like the stretches, you only work up until the point where you feel that you're hitting your limits. Once you hit the limits, you need to cut back, okay? Cutting back means you stop. If you're exercising, you need to stop the exercise. You can change the exercise and go back to a stretch and stretch out a little bit, but don't really aggravate the tendon at that point. Just kind of let it go back to its norm. Help to reduce the inflammation. And stretching increases inflammation, but if it's done just a little, it'll be okay. Just do a little and then work on those anti-inflammatories and get yourself back in working order. Now, after you've done a good bit of exercises, you're going to notice that you can now do different exercises. What I recommend, or what I've done that worked for me, is I've found that my major muscle groups are the only muscle groups I like to work on when it comes down to the exercises. I like to work chest, and a lot of people will say, don't work chest, because a lot of the issue going on with the tendon is because the shoulders are coming forward, okay? Now, when I work chest, I make sure I follow through with a back exercise. So all of the forward bringing that we do to this area, we go ahead and retract right back and set things back in working order. I like to hit them both, a chest and a back exercise. I'm very particular with my chest. I make sure my back is retracted, okay, during the entire exercise. Side view at work, so I'm in the suit, just like this, okay? Now, what I also say is when you're actually doing these particular exercises, you're gonna hear different things come from different people, and maybe something worked for somebody else, but this particular thing didn't work for me. So I've heard shorter ranges of motion, okay? I do focus on shorter ranges of motion, but I make sure that if I start here, let's say a full extension, during the exercise, I do not return to this point. I stay within this area, okay? Right here. When I fully extend all the way up, or if I go all the way back, any full extensions or extremes tend to bother my tendon. So I stay right in that middle zone, okay? I can do my pushes and I can do my pulls. Start with light weight, okay? Do not go heavy, you're going to notice that 5 pounds will inflame your tendon and inflame the whole shoulder, and the whole thing's going to feel like it's on fire and stuff like that. You'll get that with 5 pounds, okay, 3 pounds even. I even started out with no weight, so, kind of gave myself an idea of what happened. And over time, yes, I worked through no weight, and I worked on 2, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds with pressing actions, okay? Now, with back exercises, a very big tip that I have for you. This may or may not work for some people. I've been working out a good bit of time. It's really not the point right now, but I want to go ahead and put it out there that my mind to muscle connection is pretty good. And being that it's so good, when I need to connect to certain muscle groups and not have others working, I kind of make that happen pretty easily. So along with the retracted back, because when you're retracted, you're using less of a workload on that tendon. When I'm doing my back exercises, I only use 4 fingers, okay? You can call me crazy, but I noticed that, hey, when I go ahead and give that full grip, grab the weight, not only do I lose some of my mind to muscle connection, and remember guys, we're not using heavy weight, so you don't need to be gripping extra tight and hugging and squeezing and all the extra. It's just 4 fingers, and you're just thinking about what you're doing, getting those back muscles to work, and make sure you do not aggravate the tendon. So when you start doing these back exercises, you're going to notice that certain ones may work better than others. I started out pulling from directly above, in front, 4 fingers only, and then I moved on to pulling from directly in front. I only used machines for back. With chest, I used dumbbells to start, and I moved on to barbells. Now, surprisingly, barbells actually worked out a little better than dumbbells, okay? Again, the mind to muscle connection comes into play. And it's not something you want to do if you're 100% recovered, but because I have the injury, with the barbell, I can actually get a lot of the workload to go on my strong side, but still get the weak side to work, if that makes any sense, okay? So I like the barbell, and I noticed that I've even had an experience when I've been using the barbell and using the going with my strong side and my weak side, and I'm pressing. What actually can happen is when I do my mind to muscle connection and put more of the workload on the stronger side, the weaker side starts to kind of get aggravated. But once I start to change more of the workload, and I'm repping it out, but at the same time, I'm starting to really change how much workload setting in on that one side, but I'm still getting my right side to work. So I can actually rep out a good 12 to 15 reps, not really aggravate the arm. I can feel that the muscles are getting worked, and I'm getting the job done, okay? So the next thing I'm going to point out to you is rest, okay? That was exercise. When it comes down to exercise, other than that, I mean, I don't think there's much more to it. The rotator cuff exercises, fantastic. I'll get into a video with all of those. And then actually going into your chest and back exercises, not biceps, not triceps. You damn well don't do shoulders, okay? So those are the areas you want to hit in for exercises. And cardio and things like that is really, really good for the tendon. Definitely do your cardio on separate days in the week, and then you should be good. So the next thing is going to be rest. Rest, I'm going to slide through really quickly. So with rest, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You rest accordingly. You got to go ahead and set some limits, okay? So for example, the first time you ever get back in the gym and you work chest or back, whatever the muscle group is, but you know you're gonna put a little workload on that tendon, you need to go ahead and give yourself as long as you need to make sure that there is little to no inflammation. It could take 2 weeks. So you'll be that guy that says, hey man, I work chest or I work back every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks. And you'll notice that it takes your tendon 14 days for that inflammation to decrease to next to none. Then it'll take it 13 days. Then it'll take it 12, 11, 10, and so on, okay? Until you can work into the norm, which is I do chest once every week. Every Monday, you'll get back in there, you'll be able to work chest. Later on down the line, you'll do it twice a week. But before you get to twice a week, you just want to work on increasing your weight. I told you before, start with the light weight, and then work your way up as time goes on. Very simple, very easy. Do not rush, all right? Do not rush. The main thing is just go by the inflammation, okay? You're gonna notice that you are going to get stronger. You will notice less and less inflammation as time goes on until before you know it, it will go away, okay? That's gonna cover it. I'm gonna make videos to give you an idea of what's done for the stretches, the exercises, and that should be it. And as far as foods go, when it comes down to the foods, what I say is that there are foods that will really help decrease inflammation. A lot of foods out there will help you to bring down the inflammation, just like some of the anti-inflammatories over the counter will. But you may hear that some people will say that there are some other foods that you can just have. My thing is you can just kind of, I would say like, hey look, you know, don't eat whatever you want to eat, because that's not the goal, but you can focus on both, okay? You don't need a diet that is only anti-inflammatory foods. You can go ahead and say, hey look, I'm eating this, and this, and these are my extras for the anti-inflammatory work that it's going to do on my tendon. That's it. All right, you don't need to change the entire diet up and stuff like that. And you know, over time you'll see how these foods work on your body. For those who know and understand bicipital tendonitis, you know, really understand it, you will notice that when you eat certain foods and things like that, you feel different. The tendon feels different. It feels somewhat relieved, and the relief that you experience is the decrease in inflammation. So you're going to notice the more calories you pack in, and the types of calories you pack in, and vitamins and things like that are crucial. That's going to help your shoulder to recover, okay? That's where the tendon's going to start and really take on that healing process. Okay, so that's it. That's what I wanted to give you guys, my input on bicipital tendonitis. That is what worked for me. If it works for you, go ahead and try it. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, then you know, choose a different method. There are many out there. This one is what has taken me from 0 to 100, and that's about it. You know, leave your questions and comments down below, and that is it. I will get back to you guys with exercises and stuff like that. I already mentioned that. All right, cool. That is it.